It's Sandy Parker, and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. I cut this die. It's one of the ones I bought from AliExpress. I cut it out. I put 2 pieces of paper, of cardstock, in my die cutter at the same time, and it comes out like this. It's very dainty, and it's difficult to take out of the backing, but that's how it looks. I'm not going to go into more detail about that right now, but I am going to show you what I'm going to do next. What I decided I wanted to do with this is I'm going to put it on a scrap background. I'm sorry it's white. Excuse me. I'm going to be using this Hickory Smoke Distress Ink. It's just regular distress ink. Oh, I had a little white on that. I'll have to keep blending until I get that off. Anyway, I sprayed a little bit of, I have this ink refresher from Distress Inks, and I sprayed that on my ink pad, and I'm hoping that did get most of the white off. Can you see that? It got most of it off. So what I'm going to do then is I'm just going to take my brush, and I'm just going to just run up and down my little trees, because I didn't want my trees to be just plain. This is like kind of a bone color paper, and so I didn't want it to look, you know, just like that. I want it to look a little bit better, and I'm trying to distress the left side of the branches more than the right side, like the sun might be coming from this side, to make it so that the right side has more color to it, more shading. In case that makes any sense. You know, as always, I'm kind of just flying by the seat of my pants. Okay. I think a little bit more on that one. I think that's pretty good. Then, I'm going to get this out because we don't care about that anymore. Then I'm going to pop this section out as carefully as I can. There's my branch. There's the piece I don't want. And I have weird little hairs here that I don't know where I got them either. So here are my 2 sets. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a background paper, and I think I'm just going to do a regular 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card base. I'm going to use Recollections 110-pound white cardstock for my base, and I'm going to use one of my new dies because I want to make sure that that I have the right shape, and I wanted to see how I want to do this. I think I'm going to use, instead of that, I bought some Stampin' Up! Square framelits. I don't know if those are going to be the thing I want or not. Let me look at all my, at how this is going to work size-wise, and I'll be right back. So what I decided to do is use one of the AliExpress dies that I talked about at the beginning. It's this set that has the stitch in it, and I'm going to go with the biggest one. So I took a piece of cardstock that's the same white cardstock that this is going to be my card. It's 8 1/2 inches, scored at 4 1/4, and it's 5 1/2 inches tall. Then I took a piece of the same cardstock and I cut it to 4 inches across and 5 1/4 inches high. That makes it a 1/4 inch shorter and narrower. And then I put my die in the middle, and I'm going to cut that out. And the reason I did that is so that I can create a front to my card and make it, if I want to make a shaker card out of it, I can, or if I want to put my background of the alcohol inks that looks like a sunset behind it, I can do that. So I'm going to play with this first, and I'll be right back. I'm going to put another layer inside this, the first cutout, and I'm going to use this die. And what I did was I cut a piece of paper that's almost exactly the same size as my outer paper, And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this die inside, because you want to make sure that you're going to end up, I'm going to move that out of the way a little bit. You want to make sure that when you've die cut this, that the centerpiece is going to be even with your outside piece. And the best way to do it is to have your outside piece on when you're getting ready to tape this down. So I'm going to just take my hands off of it and get a piece of washi tape. And if you didn't know, I put washi tape on my skin and take a lot of the stick off of it so that it doesn't end up really adhering to my paper. Now, again, you're going to line up your papers underneath to make sure that they're right. And I'm going to hold down my die and I'm going to move it off to the side so that I can put my piece of tape on my die. And now it's where it needs to be. And I'll just put this through the die cutter and we'll be rolling. So here's my inner piece, and I can just take that off easily. I can use this stitch piece for something else, and I probably will, but not on this project. Maybe the inside. Oh wow, that would be pretty. Here's the bigger piece and the littler piece. I might line that up and put that on the inside of my card. Wouldn't that be fun? Okay, so we have our inner piece and our outer layer, and all we have to do now is tape them together. See how easy that was to make lined up dies? And I'm going to put some of this on here, and then we're gonna, oh, it's not playing with me. And then we'll just glue them down and be ready for the next step. What I wanted to do is I wanted to make it so that my trees really have something nice to be layered on. Now, I'm going to have to probably put my head over this because I don't want to end up with a big crazy mess. Now I could put little fake stitches on this if I wanted to, because my stitches are on the inner part of the die. See, when you cut it, the stitches, I don't know if you can see that, the stitches show up right there. So that's, you know, that's our little problem with it. Okay, but what I want to do now that we have our inside ready to go, I'm going to put more tape around the outside. I'm going to take off that tree, and I'm going to take off this tree. Alright, let's see if we can line the first trees back up again. Now, I think I want to go. I'm going to put more tape around the bottom edge and closer to the side edges, so in case I have any limbs, I can attach them there. Okay, which side is up? Must be this side is up. Okay. Alright, let me put the bottoms down. Okay. Now, we know where these branches are, so I'm going to see if I can line these up. Okie doke. Now I've got some wet glue that's super wet. Let's see if I can get my two buddies to lay on top of each other. If I can, if I can't, well, you know how it goes. Put some on my limbs. Hopefully my limbs will not my other set of limbs will not go crazy all over the first set of limbs. Okay. So, alright, I'm going to put this, I don't know why that one's not laying right. Let's see how this looks once I flip it over. Okay, that's pretty good. Kind of what I was looking for. I do want to see if I can slide this bottom one The top slides, the bottom doesn't. Let's see if I can move the bottom over just a little bit. Alright. Now, more glue on the back. Make sure our trees have as much glue on them as I can get so that we end up having a tree that's laid down to the background. Now, here is my background piece, or my background piece. Here is what we'll call the card, now that I've renamed it, background piece, card, you know it, I've got a plan. And I wanted to make a sunset background on this, so I'm going to glue this down to my card. Whoops. Make sure I really do a nice job, because that alcohol ink, although it's really dry, it does kind of seep into my background enough that the back of the card, or the back of this photo paper, has some of it on there. So I gotta find my bone folder. It does not appear to be laying right here. I'm gonna stick that right there. And I think I'm just going to use this to make my edge, since I can't find my bone folder. That's better. Alright, so green is on the bottom, orange is on the top. I'm going to put that down. Hopefully our trees will look cool on it. See if I got that straight. And now let's lay our trees down on it. Now, if I was really trying to make sure I did a great job with these trees as far as straight goes, I would probably end up putting something on this, but I think I glued them down well enough that it's not that big of a problem. Now I'm going to make my, let's put this in the inside. Might as well use it, right? Because it's cute. Why not? That looks pretty good. And I'll do the back. And I'll decide if I want to put it as my part I'm going to write on, or if I'm going to just put it on the inside of the card. But I think I'll put it right where you write. Go over that way a little bit more, I think. Pretty good. Okay, that's our inside of our card. Now I'm going to take two of these little dies, and I'm going to cut the sentiment out of this. Okay, so now what I did was I took two of the smaller dies and I stamped the sentiment, "You're in my thoughts," from this Hero Art set called Friend L351, and then I did that in my Onyx Black VersaFine ink, and then I put some tape on the back of it. I was a little scared it was going to stick there, and I did the darker gray sentiment. It's a little to the right, but that doesn't really bother me. Does it bother you? Okay. Yes, not so much. I was looking for a vote there. So then I thought what I would do is put this on, I'll put it right in the center, but I'm going to put it on, I don't think I can face that foam tape today. I made an executive decision. I'm not going to face the foam tape. I'm going to use something else instead. I'm just going to use some of these dots because, you know, every once in a while you should give yourself a break from something that's just horrible, like that foam tape is. So I'm just going to put some of these little foam pieces right along the back. And then we'll have a cute little card. Now you could have done Happy Father's Day. It's a very masculine card, I think, because of the trees. And because that one tree is a little bit crooked, it'll be great that I can put this in front of it and then no one will see that the tree is crooked. I like how the putting the other background on here makes it a little bit more, you know, by having the darker gray tree behind, I did a nice job of setting those off. So I didn't know if I wanted to do gel pen or my white Prismacolor pencil. So I think I'm going to do the Prismacolor pencil first, and then if I think I need some of the white, I can go in with that. I don't even know why I'm worrying about that center section. That's where I'm going to have that piece no one's going to see. I think this will do a nice job of making the trees look a little bit whiter. Still playing in that area I don't need to be playing in. Don't know what I'm doing. And then if I have tree limbs sticking up, I can glue those down after the fact, and I might do that. You know, I just want to make sure that the basis of the tree is adhered, and then once I put that sentiment over it, you'll know if some of the limbs are going to be exposed or not. So we'll play with them if they are. If they're sticking up, we'll play with them. Okay. I decided instead that I would play with my Posca marker, Uni Posca, I think it's called. It's a white paint marker, and it does a nice job of just adding the same kind of white marks that you get from a gel pen. You can get from this. So I'm just going to put, you know, birch trees have these kind of lines in them off to the side, so I'm going to kind of put them on both sides. Just in case, if you don't have birch trees in your area of the country or your area of the world, they're white and gray, and they have these little lines in their bark. They're really kind of cool looking. They're really easy to knock down in a windstorm, and so if you have them, they're kind of delicate for wind, and they always seem to grow in odd ways. Like they'll have several teeny tiny little branches that, instead of having a huge big trunk, they have these weird little pieces instead. Okay, that's what I think I'm going to do with that. And then I have this piece, and I'm just going to put it over my center like that. And I can see that I have one of my branches is running amok, so I'm going to put a little bit of glue, hopefully, underneath them to get them to lay down. I might have to put something heavy on them. Okay, let me get my envelope. I think I'm just going to put this leaf washi down there on that envelope. Look how crooked that is. We'll put that down there. Must have been Rich. We'll blame him. Okay. There's that. Okay, so let's see. Is my branch laying down? Not as much as I want it to, but we'll put our stamp on the back because I made this for you. And here is our card and our envelope. I hope you thought this was fun. Another use for my backgrounds that I made with the alcohol inks, and I thought it was kind of a fun use of my dyes as well. Please give this a thumbs up and subscribe. Tell your friends about me on social media. I really appreciate it, and thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.